Juneteenth came about on the 19th of June in the year 1865 when a Union general, a two-star general in the Union Army named Gordon Granger. So Granger, on the 19th of June, since he was in charge of all the Union forces in Texas, decided to step forth and say, let's put an end to this. Let's make sure that every African American and every slave owner knows that slavery is over. Abraham Lincoln tried to free the slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation.
But that occurred several years prior to Juneteenth. The celebration went in Texas, correct? Was the last state that released enslaved people.
We had enslaved people who didn't know that they had been freed because their owners, and that's just such a horrible way to even talk about this, but their owners refused to acknowledge the end of the Civil War or the Emancipation Proclamation.
2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation is when Granger gave his order, putting the Emancipation Proclamation into effect.
And having that information and knowing what occurred in the past is important for everybody so that we can, learn from history and understand and attempt to move forward together and make a better, Madera state, nation, and world.
One of the things that's really interesting about the Juneteenth holiday is how it's been, it's been poorly understood for the last, century and a half.
They might have heard about it slightly, but they really don't, again, know the details, the significance, and the importance, and what occurred again in our history.
I think truth is the foundation of growth. If we do not look at what has happened in our past and be honest about how it has impacted our people, especially our Black Americans, then how do we move forward to incorporate the gifts and the talents of the people that had once upon a time been enslaved?
To me, is the first instance where the proclamation freeing the slaves was an indication of the systematic racism that exists and the stain of slavery persists in the nation.
Having the opportunity with a federal holiday now to have that there and have it, not just have the holiday, but to understand why it is an important holiday and have that education out to people over what occurred and why, again, what is Juneteenth.
Here in Madera, we've had small celebrations of Juneteenth, but now the whole country is taking Juneteenth seriously. The attempt to recognize and to celebrate the end of slavery in all its forms.
Everybody can see where we are as a nation right now. And I think that everybody can see how important this is for people to recognize other cultures, the importance of days that commemorate special days in history that are important to different cultures.
We all are Americans. African Americans have fought for this country with distinction. Mexican Americans have fought for this country with distinction. Japanese Americans, Americans whose parents were put in concentration camps, fought with distinctions. They all identify as Americans.
And so when this comes forward as an opportunity to really validate, what our beliefs and our values are and to really clarify those, I think to our executive cabinet, to our board, it made all the sense in the world. There is really no disagreement on whether this is, a federal holiday. The Senate, the House, the President, all have spoken. It's done. So let's do the right thing here, and let's embrace this as a moment of education, of celebration, and let's change the trajectory of the past.
We're all supposed to be brothers and sisters in our union. we are supposed to support and respect and stand by each other. And I would think that a big part of that is respecting and understanding and learning about the backgrounds and the cultures and the history of everybody. That's a big piece of it. I knew that we would get to where we are now and that we would be putting it in our collective bargaining agreement. And I think that our employees should be, I don't want to say they should be, I think they will be very thankful that they work for a district that was willing to do that very easily.
For us to be able to go backwards and to make that right for our employees just seemed like the exact right thing to do. And we know exactly what to do going forward. It's a holiday.
So having this a federal holiday now signifies really the importance of this history, and as an opportunity now for Americans to maybe take another look now and understand a little better what occurred.
When we acknowledge what has truly occurred in the history of the United States, we're able to focus, to delve into the meaning of it all, so that then we can reflect within ourselves, what does that mean to me as a person? What does it mean to my friends? How do I become that person that helps all to make us stronger?
When we do this, when we recognize that we still have work to do, that we still have to continuously improve, which is one of the underlying pieces of infrastructure at Madera Unified School District, as good as we're going to get, it won't be enough. We want to continuously improve and make progress.
I hope that actually for all of our federal holidays, including the 4th of July and now Juneteenth, that people perhaps take a little bit more time to really, again, think about what these holidays are about. What is the true meaning?
I want our classified staff to all respect each other and what's important to everyone as individuals. So I would hope that they would celebrate either with their families or with their friends.
The message that I have to our parents as it regards Juneteenth is to embrace it, to recognize our faults, because we all have them as individuals, as communities, as a nation. And if we hide from those faults, they continue to fester. They don't get better. If we recognize them and embrace addressing them and strengthen ourselves from them, our children will be better. They'll be better than us. They'll be stronger leaders, stronger members of the community.
To parents, I just say, welcome the opportunity to be able to learn along with your children, because if you were like me, these type of things weren't in our history.
So to our students, I would say, when Juneteenth comes along every year, I would hope that they would think back and have the education behind them to understand the importance of the day and to think back and to empathize with the struggle that led us to this point. Juneteenth is the end of one struggle. It's the beginning of another, and now we're in a new era when we get to be better, to do better, to live up to our creed that all people are created equal. This is a moment in time we get to walk away, take a deep breath and reflect and really appreciate the struggle that so many have put in for us to have this moment.
So know how valued you are. Embrace Juneteenth is another opportunity to learn about your country and to learn about yourself, and to help strengthen yourself, your community, your friends, our nation.